All right, let's get started. Most of you should probably know me by now, but my name is Rebecca Davis. I am a project manager within the MapGeo division of the Sanborn Map Company. I have been with MapGeo and Sanborn now for 10 years. I primarily focus on state and local government, mostly in New England, and working with municipalities to help them with their annual foundational data updates for their parcels, their zoning, addresses, streets, stuff like that, as well as utility work for water, sewer, stormwater, all of those fun things. And today I'm joined by my colleague, Laura. Laura, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi. Thanks, Rebecca. I'm Laura Doty, and I have been with AppGeo and now Sanborn for 15 years. And for much of that, I've been focused on MapGeo and our other products like Giza and Sanborn Oblique Analyst. I'm the project support team lead, and I work with over 100 government organizations and ensure that their websites and products are best serving your needs. So, and I know that looking at the list, I know many of you here. So,
Yeah, we have a lot of familiar names on that list, so it's great to see, and a lot of new names. So we look forward to having more conversations with you guys. All right, so we're quickly going to talk about the benefits of our Spatial IQ for MapGeo program, which this webinar is something that the Spatial IQ for MapGeo team puts on a quarterly basis. We call them kind of our educational sessions. Speaking to topics that are of interest based on our conversations with our clients for things that might be a hot topic of conversation or anything like that. We also provide these webinars to the public just to get them to be able to have a better understanding of what GIS is and what GIS can do for them and their communities as well. Like I had mentioned previously before in my intro, that part of the Spatial IQ program, we have GIS data updates. So those are helping municipalities complete their updates for parcels, zoning, addresses, things like that. We also have a help desk support. We have a whole portal that we're going to go over later in this webinar with kind of help guides and some tips and tricks. We also provide hosted downloadable data on MapGeo. So if there is a layer that you frequently get requests from the public or contractors, or anybody, we are able to put those up on MapGeo to be downloaded, and that can be configured so that is something that is just behind a login for town staff to be able to access and to share that data out, or you can make it available to the public so anybody can grab that data. We also provide an annual overlay theme on MapGeo. So at the bottom right screenshot over here is the latest one that we did for renewable energy to show where there's different types of energy being produced within within the state. And we've done other ones such as demographics, emergency type themes. We've also done voting districts and things like that as well for kind of the major voting years. So we try to keep up with the trends that are going on. And then depending on the tier package that you have with our Spatial IQ program, we do offer strategic planning sessions. So that's where we try to get together with as many departments within town or your community itself to have a conversation about GIS, what the needs are, where there are gaps in the data, and what other things could be helpful to have as a GIS layer to have on your MapGeo site or just in general for your town to have. And certainly these webinars are also part of that. The big thing that we kind of strive for as part of the Spatial IQ program is to encourage you to push the limits of your MapGeo and your GIS data to increase the capabilities for your staff, but also for your residents and non-residents within your community. All right, so today's topics, we are going to be talking about a high-level overview of what MapGeo is, some of the updates that are coming to the MapGeo platform. We're also going to be talking about the visibility of your MapGeo site. So talking about kind of how you're accessing your site, how people can find your MapGeo site, and some other things that we're doing for outreach to hear from you guys and what you want to see on MapGeo, things like that. And then we're also going to talk about the uses of MapGeo in terms of getting statistics on how many people are visiting your site, what they're looking at, different things like that. Included in that conversation that we'll have is return on investment report. That's something new that we created. So more to be coming on that. And then we'll share a couple of resources with you guys as well. So let's get started. So what is MapGeo for those that are not current MapGeo clients on this call? MapGeo is an internet web-based online mapping platform designed for organizations across the community to view their authoritative GIS data. MapGeo was developed to be an easy to use for both technical and non-technical users. MapGeo can be customized to your organization and display data for the public use and also keep secure information behind a login for internal users only. um, if you want some more information, you can find it on mapgeo.io. That has a list of all of the services and themes and everything that we can do for you. Really what we want to convey is that MapGeo is your authoritative viewer for your GIS data within your organization. You can customize all of the themes. You can put as many themes on there as you like. You can pull in data from your state or your county, any of the other organizations that help enhance the data that you already have. Laura, do you want to add anything to that?
No, it's a great list. Even though MapGeo is a product, it is highly configurable, and we can really fine tune the site to suit your needs and your organization's needs.
Awesome. So some quick MapGeo news and updates. Some of you have probably heard from us recently. We are doing quarterly outreach to folks and helping clients with support. So we have an ongoing open portal for clients to submit questions, ask anything of MapGeo if they want to add something. We have that. The outreach are typically phone calls. If folks want, we're happy to schedule a Teams meeting to go over anything, to look at anything on the screen together. We want to hear from you when we call you. We'd like to know how you're using MapGeo, if there's anything that can be improved with MapGeo, different things like that, which then trickle on to helping us be able to understand your needs so we can make those development and expansion of MapGeo for the site itself. We want to make sure that MapGeo is of most use and suits all of the needs that you have within your community. We also are always doing continued maintenance and support for any bug fixes and site performance improvements as well. I know within the past couple of months, we had pushed out a recent fix that updated some of the improvements for the speed of MapGeo and some of the tiling issues that people had been having. So a lot of those have been resolved. So we're constantly doing those things kind of behind the scenes for folks on their MapGeo site. All right, so let's talk about some ways to get your MapGeo site seen. Before we get into the content, we are actually going to kick things off with a webinar poll. So give me 1 second to get this launched. Come on. Polls and launch. So everybody should see a pop-up on their screen with the question of how do you usually navigate to your organization's GIS site? Are you getting there by typing in the URL to the search bar? Are you going through your town's website? Do you have a bookmark to your link? Or is there another way that you're getting there? Give folks a minute to get the responses in there. All right, we're seeing a lot of bookmarks going through the main organization website, which is what we expected. So I will end the poll and then share the results for everybody to see. Most of you are having a bookmark link to that. There's also a good handful of you that are going through the organization's website. So that's what we're actually going to be talking about to get your MapGeo site seen and some examples of how other municipalities are linking to their GIS, their maps on their town website. So here we have a couple of examples of
Rebecca, can you close the poll?
I think I can. Well done.
Sorry.
Stop sharing. There it is.
There we go. Perfect.
Sorry about that. These are examples of folks that have their GIS or maps directly available within their main page or within at least one click of getting to their site. So if you want to have people direct themselves to your GIS viewer, It is a great recommendation that we have to put this so it's somewhere quick and easy that folks can get to. Or if you have a search bar, being able to search GIS, be able to search the word maps for some of those keywords for people to quickly and easily find where to find your map viewers. Some other ways to get MapGeo out there as kind of a common buzzword within your community is to do some outreach of MapGeo. So here are two examples that we have from some of our clients. So the one on the left is a quarterly newsletter that is sent out to all residents within the town. And it's highlighting MapGeo through the planning and development department. So they're kind of just high level talking about what MapGeo is, what they can do. Um, and this is a great way to get the word out there of what MapGeo is. On the right-hand side, we have an example from the town of Ellington in Connecticut. They actually put a screenshot of MapGeo circling a culvert that is going to be the reason for a road closure. So again, another great way to get MapGeo out there, get people familiar with looking at it and what it's going to look like when they get onto the site themselves, and sharing out this information. Also word of mouth. I know for me, when I'm in a meeting with a client and they're like, oh, so and so address, I'm immediately pulling up MapGeo. So if that kind of becomes like the common name within the town of MapGeo, 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 people are going to start to say, oh, well, what is that? Let me go and try to find that or ask more questions about that in my community. All right, so now we're going to talk about how MapGeo is being used. So Laura, I'm going to pass this over to you.
All right. Right. So I'm going to talk about a few of the tools that we have available for you to track how your site is being used. The first tool is your monthly web statistics report. We send out these monthly reports to just designated users for each MapGeo site. And these reports give a basic overview of the site usage. I'm going to give a quick breakdown of the report. I'm not going to go into every item on the report for you. But the first is this usage graph, and this is at the top of each report and shows about 2 years worth of usage. This graph was taken from a site that launched in June of 2024, and it shows that big spike as users found the site, started using it. And those monthly fluctuations that you see are typical across sites. And kind of reflect what's going out in the community. We see big spikes when the revaluation notices have been sent out. Is it tax season? Has the site been highlighted in a newsletter or blog post or something like that? So you'll see various fluctuations throughout the year. The first key metric is your unique user count. Unique users are tracked by device and browser settings and can give you the best calculation of how many individuals are visiting your site each month. The visits accounts for all visitors, first timers and repeated visits to the site. And you can see for this breakdown, roughly 40% maybe of the monthly visits to this site are unique visitors. So one person coming in to answer a question and then leaving. Actions are what people are doing on the site. Actions will be anything from searching for a property, running an abutting properties report, turning on a new theme, etc. And maximum visits in one site can kind of give you a sense of the intensity of use. This is a very high number of actions in one visit, and I suspect that this shows a very active internal user who is opening up MapGeo and using it throughout their day to get information and ask questions. Average site duration, how long are people staying on the site? A higher number shows more engagement. And the bounce rate, that tracks, maybe you all already know this, but that tracks sessions where a user comes into the site but leaves without interacting at all. They didn't turn anything on, they didn't Zoom, they just came in and left. Most MapGeo sites have a bounce rate in the high 20s or low 30s, which across the internet is considered a good bounce rate. On average, bounce rates are considered good if they are between 26 and 40%. Too high or too low of bounce rates can indicate that there's a problem with the site. Somebody comes in, they don't know what to do, they leave, could impact it. If you ever notice, if you are a recipient of the reports and you ever notice that there's a big dip or difference in your report from the prior month, reach out to us and we can help investigate if there's a problem that's driving this change. Always reach out to us if you have a question. There are more details in your reports. The devices used, are people, desktop users, mobile users, where are your users located, and what those top events are. But rather than digging into that here, I'd like to show you another tool that we have for digging into your usage.
Before we jump to that, I just wanted to call out one thing for the maximum actions for one visit. It's also very potential that that is a use case where a client has a computer set up outside of the
Yes,
office that
yes.
has MapGeo open up all day long. So anybody that comes into town that's looking to answer a question is going onto that site as kind of one user. So that's probably why those actions are so high for that one. And
Yeah,
that's another great way to get your MapGeo site seen, is to have it be a default desktop within the town hall for the assessing department, the planning department, all of the departments. That's a great way to get it known as well. All right, next one. Go ahead, Laura.
Sure thing. So for those of you who have dashboard access to MapGeo, you can dig deeper into these usage statistics and access the granular data that we're collecting about how people are using your site. All the data that we're going to talk about is summarized in your monthly WebStat reports, but the dashboard view just allows you to go deeper. So if you're in your dashboard and you click on that site usage link, that will bring you to a visits overview page, which will show a graph of the prior month's usage. The two metrics being tracked there are number of unique visitors and the number of total visits. You can add, from this view, you can add additional metrics to track. The bounce rate, actions per visit, whatever you're interested in. And this graph can be exported as an image for internal reporting. The visit summary information that appears below that graph lists metrics from the previous day. And clicking on any one of those metrics will bring it up on the graph so you can investigate it there. And full reports can be exported from here as well so that you can dig deeper into your web stats offline. Looking at the next tab on the site, that actions overview page, this really allows you to really drill down and get a clear picture of what people are doing on your site. This initial view, the image on the left there, will pull up a list of the number of times a certain event was performed on your site. An event is, entering a term in the quick search, opening up one of the map panels like the abutters reporting or markup. Advanced search, enabling new themes is something that is tracked, or change would be like changing the base map, for example. And as an example, clicking on, say, the enable event tab will bring up another report showing the number of times a particular theme was opened on your site. So in this, we can see whichever site I grabbed this from, we can see that people they come in and they right away want to switch over and look at that new aerial imagery, excuse me, that is on the site. And clicking on the menu down below allows multiple options of how to visualize this overview data. You can, export pie charts, bar graphs, etc. And again, you can export all of this data for offline use. next slide, please, Rebecca. So if you click even further into one of the enable theme options there, there's a small menu that will pop up if you hover over it, and you can export out even more information. So clicking on that menu allows you to open up the events evolution over time. So in this example, we're looking at the delinquent taxes theme for this site, and we're seeing its performance and when people are using that theme. This granular look allows you to really track performance of individual maps and identify what visitors are interested in, and can help you plan development of more data to display. The data here, again, can be exported as a CSV, an image file for internal reporting, and you can update that time span to show, the usage over a week, month, year, what have you. And also from that event page, you can access the segmented logs of individual visitors. So you can log in and you can see what an individual user is doing and all of their actions during a session. You can also view that visitor profile, where you can see their IP address, device information, their location. And for repeat visitors, you can see all of the times that they have access to your MapGeo site and all of their actions. This individual data is sort of view only. You can't export that. You can't download it. But almost all of the other data here can be exported for offline use. And as a note, because we are, you can really see what somebody's doing on your site, and we understand that sometimes can be sensitive data. We take that very seriously. And our full privacy policy is on each MapGeo site. And again, we can, if you have questions about that, please feel free to reach out. Yeah. So this is the return on investment report that we created this year. We really wanted to help quantify the benefit of a MapGeo site and provide you all with data that can be used to justify your investment in your MapGeo site. Since this is a new report, let us know if there are any changes that when you looked at the report and you thought, are there changes that we can make to make that report more valuable for you? So a little bit about how we calculated this report. We made some basic assumptions. One was that each visit to a MapGeo site saved a staff person 5 minutes that they would have otherwise spent answering questions, gathering information, or providing information to a colleague or a constituent. The savings could have been realized by someone providing a URL link to MapGeo with themes and markups brought up in an email to colleagues, so everybody can see exactly what you're talking about. Sending out something like Rebecca showed about the culvert, sending that out in a tweet or social media post, or even as something as simple as simplifying the process that you need to go through to make an abutting property report. We also estimated the amount of time that MapGeo saved your constituents, as well as the fuel savings realized from eliminating the need for a person to drive into town hall to get the answer to their questions. MapGeo also saves constituent time by providing a resource for gathering background information, so that that can help someone who needs to go into town hall to resolve an issue. They can get that background information and come to you better prepared to resolve an issue. So after calculating the time savings, we added the hours together, multiplied those by an assumed hourly rate for both a staff person and a constituent, and divided that number by your annual cost of your MapGeo subscription to arrive at that ratio. For this client, it was a 14,000% return on investment, which is really good. But that's how we calculated these amounts. And going back to the first part of the presentation, the more traffic that you can drive to your MapGeo site, through links on your organization's website, highlighting the site on newsletters or social media, the more of that you can do, the higher your return on your investment. So that's an overview of how we've calculated that. And again, as always, if this report could be more useful for you, if we made some changes, always feel free to reach out to me, Rebecca, the MapGeo support team, and we will take that into account when we send out the next report. So.
Yeah, and I will say that we do have a second page as part of this report when this gets
Yes.
sent out with a list of all of the assumptions in a lot more detail than what we just went over here. So if you do have any questions on those, please feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah. And let us know if that actually has been useful in making your case to justify your investment in your MapGeo site. So before opening this up to questions, we just wanted to highlight a few MapGeo resources that we have available to you. The first is our revamped MapGeo and Spatial IQ support portal. It's available at support.sanborn.com. And here we've rearranged things, made it a little easier and clear to find the answers to your questions. The MapGeo help manual is on there for those of you who have dashboard or console access. We have all the help articles there, and a lot of additional information. One thing that I would like to highlight here is in our MapGeo announcements section. We've archived all of our quarterly newsletters that we send out, where we are highlighting our customers, presenting interesting use cases, and making general announcements. And also, if you are interested in investigating other MapGeo sites, we have some success stories on that mapgeo.io site that you can go and investigate. And if you want us to highlight you, if you have a great use case or success story that you feel like would be beneficial to our other customers, reach out and let us know, and we can definitely highlight you. We would be happy to do that.
I was totally going to say that. I was going to throw that in there. So thanks, Laura. I
And
can
one
do
thing.
this last one if you want
Okay,
to, because
great.
this is on the
Perfect.
Spatial IQ side. So this is something that
Perfect.
the Spatial IQ team does. If you're interested in seeing what other people are doing on their MapGeo sites with different types of data, we have a whole list of different things that folks are doing, and some screenshots. And in some cases, there's links to it if the visualization is a public or private theme or not. So in this case here, we're showing the roadwork status for Pittsfield, Massachusetts. They had given us a table of all of their road constructions that were happening for the year and put it on MapGeo for them so they can see if there's any upcoming approved or unaccepted road statuses for roadwork. So this is just one example of many that we have on there. We know there are plenty of other examples out there. So if there's something that you would like us to highlight that you think your organization is doing that would be beneficial to others, please pass that along to us as well. And I think that's it. So we will open it up to questions if anybody has any. Certainly you can reach out to us at any time. We have our Spatial IQ support email up there. We can also throw the MapGeo email in there as well, which is just MapGeo support at mapgeo.io. Is that right, Laura?
Yep, that's
Yep.
it.
So reach out if you have any questions, but we'll stay on for a little bit.